to the latest. Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful, the enigmatic Joanne Fluke.
I think that would be a bad thing to do.
We do need it just so that the people at home who are watching can actually hear you.
Oh yes, you cannot hear me without it.
Well, from Facebook, unfortunately, they can't hear us through the computer without these darn things.
Is this on?
I think so.
Is it?
Yep, we can hear you.
Alrighty.
Joanne, welcome. How are you? Merry Christmas.
And Happy New Year to you too.
Well, it is kind of Christmas. You're basically the ghost of Christmas past tonight, aren't you?
I don't like being a ghost. There's something about that I don't care for. I wonder if it has something to do with murder and being dead.
I've actually always had this question for you, Joanne, before we really get started talking about Christmas cakes and murder and all that.
Okay.
Do you have a list of how many different types of ways you've killed people in your books?
Yes. Yes, and I have several I haven't used. And yes, I do. And I'm not going to tell you anything about those.
We were talking about this with Jen McKinley and Paige Shelton a couple weeks ago, and apparently Jen McKinley enjoys stabbing people, and Paige Shelton enjoys poisoning. So I was wondering if you had your top method.
Well, stabbing is messy. Poisoning, since we have refreshments, is not a good way of killing people. I've done run them off a road in a car. Okay, my favorite method. Oh, and we have used guns. I don't think I've ever used an axe. Now that oh, that would take some muscle. Oh, wait a minute. You know, I'm just not sure what my favorite. Yes, I know. Overeating cookies.
And then the axe.
Yeah, I'm in on that too, obviously. I weighed 98 pounds before I started this series.
We are in Lake Eden, and we are in axe country, so potentially you could use an axe down the road sometime.
I could.
Yes. I could see that. You're in the woods, you know, so that could actually happen.
And yes, there's woods. Drowning is another possibility because, you know, there is Eden Lake. So why not? I did drowning once. Drat. Yeah.
Well, and especially after eating cookies, you're supposed to wait about 30 minutes before you're allowed to go swimming.
Yeah,
so.
but if you keep eating them, there aren't 30 minutes ever.
Either that, or you're just going to fall asleep and not go swimming, right?
That's right. That's right. You just fall asleep and go into a sugar coma. You smile happily as you go to the other dimension.
This is fantastic. You're launching your book here tonight. Thank you so much, by the way, for doing this. I mean, this is
I love
exciting.
coming here. I love it. Everybody's so friendly and they laugh at my jokes. It's just wonderful. I like it better than home.
And I mean, it is fun to start off 100-degree weather and start thinking about Christmas. I read this last night, and let me tell you, it was such a nice break from the heat wave that we've been having here in Phoenix. It was well worth the reprieve.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I get cold when I write about winter. Like, I live in Southern California now, and it is quite hot there a lot of the year. And so I like to write about winter because then I start to shiver at my computer, and I feel nice and cool. And in the winter in Minnesota, when I lived there, I like to write about summer and heat. So, yeah, I have to kind of judge how am I feeling today, and then I decide what kind of day it is in the book.
And you know, when you're writing a Christmas book, obviously you're writing it off season. So, do you turn down the air conditioning? Do you pipe in some Christmas music? How do you get inspired to write a Christmas book, probably in the spring?
I wear a Santa hat. That works. That works beautifully. Yeah, I do that. Also, I have about 5 Christmas cards with those wonderful, wonderful pictures in the front. You know, the old-fashioned sleigh with the horses pulling in, and laughing children in the back, you know, and pine trees all over. And I kind of like stick them up. I scotch tape them to my computer and the sides of the monitor and things like that. And then I can get in the mood. And I do find myself humming Jingle Bells a lot when I write these books. I was going to leave up the Christmas tree one year, but the needles fell out. It did not look as good.
I have sadly been one of those people that has brought down their fake Christmas tree in March because I just get too busy. So yeah, it's a dirty little secret there. People come by and they look and they're like, "You haven't brought it down yet, have you?" I'm like, "I haven't had time."
You know what I did one year? It was Christmas time. We did not have a tree, and I had just moved to Southern California, and we did have a cactus. I decorated a cactus with Christmas lights. My advice to you is don't try this at home. I picked stickers out of my fingers. I didn't wear gloves. Oh, it's okay. I could do this without gloves. Don't. Whatever you do, this is my warning. If you live in a hot climate and you're going to decorate a cactus, wear thick gloves.
We actually have some very famous decorated cactus, if you go down Lincoln, that are frequently found on Christmas cards for Arizona.
Really?
That somebody goes out and they decorate and they get ready for the holidays, and of course then for those of you at home, they're actually not too far away here from the bookstore, about 10 minutes away, and you know, it's always interesting. I mean, getting ready for the holidays here and probably getting ready for the holidays in Southern California is very, very similar because it's very different. We're more about Mele Kalikimaka than we are about Jingle Bells.
Well, okay. In Minnesota, you hear all sorts of Christmas carols.
So, Christmas Cake Murder, you're bringing us back to the past. You're bringing us back to Hannah Swenson, back from college for the very first time.
Yes, we are time traveling here, backwards. And Hannah is coming back from college. And as you know, if you have read the series, Hannah had an unhappy romantic incident happen to her in college. And so she went back to Lake Eden when her dad died and decided that she really didn't want to go back to college. She was getting her PhD. And she decided she didn't really want to teach. She didn't, she was going to be a college professor. She didn't want to do it after that. And so she is struggling with what do I want to do with my life and trying to get over this unhappy romance. And her dad has just died. And her mom, Dolores, is really grieving. I mean, Dolores really loved Lars. So she was grieving. And how can the sisters, Hannah and her 2 sisters, Andrea and Michelle, get Dolores to get back and live again? I mean, Dolores is withdrawing completely. So that's how the book starts. And then Michelle asks Hannah, what do you want to do with your life? Are you going back to college? And Hannah says, I don't want to go back to college. I'm just not sure what I want to do. And Michelle, who's a junior in high school at the time, asks a really intelligent question. And that is, if you could do anything in this whole world, what would you like to do? And Hannah says, well, I like to bake. I would like to open a bakery and a coffee shop so all sorts of people can come in and have coffee and cookies. And this is what happens in the book. This is when Hannah opens the cookie jar. Well, of course there's a murder. I mean, there has to be a murder. It's a murder mystery. I mean, it's a given. And of course, Hannah has to help solve it. And it's kind of a sweet little story, despite the murder. Okay? I mean, so that's silly to say, isn't it? That's kind of creepy, actually. But it's a sweet story. I think you're going to enjoy it. And there's a Christmas ball in the movie, or in the movie. Oh, I'm hoping. Oh, yeah. I hope Hallmark likes it. No, there is a Christmas ball, and Hannah and Dolores, everyone has to recreate the original Christmas ball at the Albion Hotel, and that is what is happening in this book. And of course, at the end of the ball, there's a Christmas cake parade. That is when the chandeliers go dim and everybody walks out that's serving for the party with cakes with candles on top of them, and carries them, winds their way around the room and carries them to the buffet table. And what are we having tonight at the little buffet table? Yes, we're having champagne and cake. And so, my dear people that are helping me, we're going to do a Christmas cake parade tonight. I think that'll be fun. And you get to eat the cakes later. Yeah.
I'm very sorry for those people on Facebook right now who are watching this and discovering that they are not going to be getting cake and champagne. You're welcome to go to your fridge and get cake and champagne and join us, but
I should tell them what kind of cake to get.
Absolutely, what cake?
We have 2 different kinds tonight. The recipes, of course, are in the book, and they're laughably simple. The first one is an ultimate lemon butt cake. And the second variety is an ultimate butterscotch butt cake. Ooh! And it's got chocolate on top. There's another, ooh! Yes, chocolate is a food group, guys. You know that, right? Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely, and that's part of the fun of your books. Now, I do have to ask you, do you theme your books around a recipe that you have in mind, or do you go ahead and theme the recipes around the book? What comes first?
The first thing that comes is the title, because it has to. Because they need that early. Okay. They have to start on the cover art. So, that is one recipe. All the rest of the recipes in the book come as I'm writing it. I think, oh, I have to have Hannah bake a cookie now. Which cookie shall it be? I mean, so you don't really, I just do it as I'm writing. And I test recipes as I'm writing. I test every recipe at least 3 times. Sometimes many more. But 3 times I definitely test them, because they have to work all 3 times. Otherwise, I don't put them in the book. It's not fair to you guys, because you're gonna maybe make some of these at home. Hopefully you will. And I want to make sure that it works for you. That's what I would feel terrible if it didn't work for you. And so I test them, and then I have another, call her my fail-safe gal, John's girlfriend. Does anybody know Kathy here? No? Okay. Just, this is on Facebook. Uh-oh. Well, anyway. I have to tell you now. John's girlfriend, Kathy, did not bake. That's putting it very nicely. She just didn't bake. She could cook. She had her favorite things to cook. But she didn't bake. And so, after I finish testing a recipe 3 times or more, I give that recipe to Kathy. And if Kathy can make that recipe, and I taste it and it's good, and it looks good and tastes good, then it goes in the book for sure. Because if Kathy can bake it, anybody can bake it. I hope you're not listening, Kathy.
I'm always amazed. I enjoy baking quite a bit, and we actually have a gentleman who works here, John Charles, who's a marvelous baker. So if you ever come on a weekend when we're doing a tea, he's usually our baker.
Are you doing it this weekend?
I'm not sure if we are, to be real honest. I'm always surprised. He'll surprise us, and he'll come in with, pecan shortbread, or he makes some really amazing cheesecake brownies, some other things. I have to really be careful because I'm on a very strict what I can and cannot eat, and he tempts me every darn time, and so do you actually, with everything that you bring in. What was it like bringing Hannah back to the past, bringing her back to the beginning? Because obviously she can't know what she knows now,
No.
Such as in the Raspberry Danish murder.
That's right, she can't know that. And it was fun because when I envisioned first, I don't want to just say I created Hannah. Hannah was there, I just tapped into Hannah. But when I first started writing about Hannah, I thought of Hannah as a young girl and thought through her life. I mean, I could see her. She'd do this and that and this and that. She got older and older. And so I kind of knew what she was like as a younger Hannah. And so it was not that difficult. I did not know what Dolores was like as a younger Dolores. So that was something I had to explore. And I think all of you will like Dolores a little more when you realize, when you read about her in this book. Because now there are explanations about why Dolores was, when the series opened, kind of a domineering mother, I was like, give me a grandchild. That was that. Yeah. It was fun.
Well, she's dealt with such a hard blow, having been married to Lars for so many years, and you're experiencing that grief for the very first time that Dolores is feeling. What was that like, sitting down and writing through her grief? Because I know that you've lost your husband as well. Was it getting in touch with that?
Yes, in a way, I think. I think we all, anybody that writes from personal experience, or we can imagine what it would be like. I think, and we do use things from our own life. I know, I do, every once in a while. I have had cats. I had a cat like Maisha once, so you sort of use things from your own personal life, and then you either use them the way they were, or you embellish them, or whatever. And so, yeah, it helped. That's hateful to say, but it helped that I had gone through something similar, yes.
It's hard to write something like that and not make the book really dreary, but it's always, all of the Lake Eden books are so uplifting. And this one especially, I think.
Yeah, we can't be dreary. I mean, it's Lake Eden. My goodness sake, it's an exciting place to live. It's beautiful. People are friendly. It's a town that's picturesque. There's only one little problem, and that's the murder, the murders. And one of these days, I promise all of you, I promise this, one of these books, I'm gonna kill Mayor Bascom.
It is a homicidal town, I gotta say.
No, really, I can't stand that guy.
Getting into his head, I mean, I can just imagine you just arguing with him on the page, just being like, oh, you're showing up? Really?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
This day is going to be bad right now. I'm just going to let everybody know.
Won't somebody vote you out of office? My goodness, I better do something about that. Yes. Yeah, that's the way I feel. I don't like him. And I think you should write about characters you don't like once in a while. You can take out all of your aggression. And I promise, I will.
Just one of these days. I'm now experiencing, I'm just thinking about the campaign commercials that you see in Lake Eden about the mayor and the negative campaign smearing, and somehow he still manages to get elected.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that happens, really. I guess people are just willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. Because he hasn't really done anything for Lake Eden. I mean, the only thing he was going to do one time is put in a stoplight, but they don't need it. You know, it was, he's just awful. I don't blame Stephanie Bascom a bit for every time he goes out on her getting a new wardrobe. I don't blame her.
I love the fact, though, that you have just the great villain, the person in the town that you just absolutely love to hate. And he really shines on the page because everybody hates him so much.
It's true. In a way, I hate to kill him off because it's so much fun to hate him.
You have to come up with somebody worse. I think that's the thing. If Mayor Baskin leaves, I mean, you're gonna have to come up with. Look at that devious face right there, Joanne. Joanne, you've got somebody in mind, don't you?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. I have a yes. I do. I do. Just wait until you read the next full-length Hannah book.
Nice. And that's the chocolate cream pie murder?
Oh yes it is. I just finished writing it. And we are now on, now it goes to a copy editor who tries to rewrite it, of course, and I don't accept any changes. I'm so bad. My editor, yes, my editor is brilliant. I really love this guy. He is wonderful. And sure, when he's got a problem with something, I know it's probably wrong. So I do listen to him. Copy editors, I love it when they correct my spelling. I mean, this is great because brand names and things, sometimes I forget to look them up. They will correct me. This is good. All that is good. But when they try to change dialogue, I mean, Minnesota, people in Minnesota say things like, "You want to come with?" I mean, that is something you say when you live in the Midwest. I'm going to the store. You want to come with? You don't say with me.
Nope.
Well, copy editors will add the me. No, nobody does that in Minnesota. So little things like that they just bug me, and then I change it back. And then I go, I'm going through all this work for nothing. I had it right in the first place.
We've got half of Minnesota here in Arizona. I think this is one of the reasons why you do so well, you know? Especially during the winter where they're just tired of the snow, right?
Oh, yes. You can get, well, you know the thing about the freezer of your refrigerator, don't you? The Minnesota thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. You can go out in the winter in Minnesota and feel the air, go back inside, and open up the freezer in your refrigerator, and it is 50 degrees warmer inside that freezer than it is outside. It really is. I mean, joggers will sometimes wear shorts if they're from California or Arizona, you know, someplace warm. Hawaii? Why would anybody from Hawaii go to Minnesota? No, never mind. But the joggers will sometimes, you know, freeze, flash. It's like flash freezing meat, you know. It's awful. Yeah, every year you hear about this. So Minnesota's tough. It is. They have blizzards. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've written several blizzards. I like to write about blizzards. My husband and I went through a blizzard one time in Minnesota. And they came around on snowmobiles and said, "Are you running out of groceries?" I mean, people are very helpful. "Are you running out of groceries? Is there anything that I could get you from the grocery store?" And we said, "Yeah, we're almost out of chocolate ice cream." They didn't come back. They thought we were kidding. I was not kidding.
That would have been so easy to transport. You didn't have to worry about it melting on the way. It's the middle of winter. I mean, and yes, I understand. I've always got a little thing of chocolate ice cream in case of emergencies. You know, you gotta have it. Absolutely.
The other thing that's bad though in the winter is the groceries in the trunk of your car. You do not put groceries in the trunk of your car in the winter in Minnesota. Because if you buy, like for instance, you're out there and you're going to buy Coca-Cola So you get it in the cans, you stick it in the trunk, and you drive back home. And it takes you 20 minutes to get home. All the tops are popped off, and there's Coca-Cola ice all over the back of your truck. And so you just don't do that. Things happen like that in Minnesota. And as a matter of fact, most of the grocery stores have people dressed in parkas, generally young college students or young high school students, dressed in parkas that'll run out to your car and put in your warm back seat, but never in the trunk. That's all these things about living in Minnesota that I do not miss. And I'm sure anybody that's here from Minnesota or cold climes doesn't miss them much either.
So Joanne, writing about Christmas and writing a Christmas story, what is different for writing a Christmas story like Christmas Cake Murder than it is writing the rest of the year in Lake Eden?
If I write a Christmas story, I can have Christmas twice a year. And Christmas is one of my very favorite seasons. I love it. A lot of it is the food. I love the food. And a lot of it is the baking, because you sometimes make things at Christmas that you wouldn't make any other time. Like fruitcake. Do you guys know the story about fruitcake? There is no fruitcake recipe in my book. Okay. They say there is there's only one fruitcake. Yeah, you know that one? Yes, yes. Okay, for those of you that haven't heard it, there's only one fruitcake. This fruitcake gets given to somebody at Christmas time. That somebody wraps it up, puts it in their refrigerator, and leaves it there for the entire year. The next Christmas, they wrap it beautifully and give it to somebody. And that person puts it in. This keeps going. This could go on for 80 or 90 years. Nobody ever cuts a slice out of that fruitcake. It might be good. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not a fruitcake lover.
I hate to say this, I love fruitcake.
Do you really?
I really do. I love those horrible green cherries that they put in. Everything. Isn't it? Yeah, but it's one of those things that I'm probably the only person in the world who eats fruitcake and actually likes it.
Hey, everybody, let's bake in fruitcake.
Exactly. If you got it in the freezer, bring it on over. We'll unthaw it. So in terms of writing this book, in terms of uplifting, I find this book very uplifting. Do you find it really uplifting when you're writing the Christmas themes and trying to make, it always has a really good message behind them?
Yes, I really do, because I love Christmas, and it's a happy season. I think for most people, it's a happy time of year. It's a time of celebration. Everything looks different because everything's all decorated up. It's really nice. And you start thinking about, oh yeah, Christmas Eve, the snow is gently falling, except if you live here. And, it's just beautiful. And you romanticize winter if you don't live in it. But even in like our little town where I grew up in a town of 217. And everybody decorated. And if you couldn't decorate, if you were elderly and you couldn't decorate, the high school boys went out the week before Christmas. They got out of school 3 hours early. They would go to your house and decorate the outside of your house with lights for Christmas. And it was just something that we all did. Everybody helped everybody at Christmas. So it was sort of a help your neighbor season, and it was a celebrate season, and it was a lovely time. So I like to write about it, and it is uplifting. Christmas just makes me feel good.
Well, Murder, She Baked. Can you tell us a little bit about, is there anything new along those horizons with the Hallmark Channel?
There's nothing right now, because Allison Sweeney, who plays Hannah, is doing something else right now. But I'm kind of hoping that she goes back to Hannah, because I liked the movies. They were different. They're not the books, and she's really not that. She's the Hollywood Hannah. There is a difference here. I mean, our Hannah is not the Hollywood type, and she won't ever be the Hollywood type. But Allison does a very good job of playing a very nice, warm person. That could be Hannah. If Hannah were star quality. Hannah's, that's what I like about Hannah. She's not beautiful. She's wonderful, but she's not beautiful. She has her little figure faults, and she avoids the scale like it was a dragon, you know. She's just not getting anywhere near it. And she's a regular person. She's like you and me. You know, she's not the, oh, I'm so beautiful and I have my hair done by a hairdresser every single morning. And I get my eyelashes enhanced. It takes me 3 hours to put on my makeup. She's like you and me. I mean, if I ever wear makeup, you know, I slap on some lipstick, brush my hair, I'm ready to go. And I know a lot of people are like that. They're just regular people. You know, you look as nice as you can, but you don't. It's not your whole life. So the Hollywood Hannah is a little different.
But that's one of the reasons why I think your books have gone on for so long, is because Hannah's a real person. You know, you've brought her up, and that's part of what's so much fun about Christmas Cake Murder, is that we get to see her back when she is completely green. You know, she hasn't experienced as many murders as she has since in Raspberry Danish Murder. You know, obviously.
Oh, but it never gets old for her.
No, it doesn't. and obviously she's, you know, this is her first case, essentially.
Yes, it is. Yes. And it's a complicated one. I know you're gonna like this. This is fun. This is fun. And that Christmas ball. Oh my goodness, that was really fun to write about. You know, that the hotel that I'm writing about actually existed in my hometown. And it was, yes, and there's a woman named Essie in the story. I'm not going to tell you too much about her, but there was a woman named Essie in my life too, who lived in 2 rooms of that hotel. Yeah, so when you're reading about Essie, think, oh, you know, Joanne told me about that there was this old hotel and it was deserted except for those 2 rooms, and Essie lived there. And that part is true. So it was nice. It was like memory time for me. Yeah.
Small town America really has those surprises in them and in their own towns, you know, that we don't necessarily get to see living in the bigger cities. And it's fun to go back to a place that seems simple but really has a lot of the same problems that we're experiencing in the big city. You know, we're all the same in a lot of ways, and that's it's fun, it's refreshing.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
So where are we going to go in the springtime with the chocolate cream pie? Can you give us a little bit of a hint on what we should expect?
Expect resolution. They know. And that's, I'm not telling you anymore. Except the recipes are fantastic. Oh, yes. That chocolate cream pie, oh my goodness. I did test that more than 3 times. But who's counting?
So, I'd like to open it up to questions from the audience. Who has some questions for Joanne? Yes, ma'am.
What about Norman and the house that he and Hannah designed together?
It is there. It is still there. And Hannah may be spending more time visiting. Okay, that's it. I'm not going to tell you anymore.
We may be dragging some secrets out from her tonight. So.
Oh no, you won't.
Yes, sir.
Joanne, do you, when you start your book, do you storyboard them kind of, and put them out kind of on a
I outline.
basis, and kind of outline it?
Yeah.
And storyboard it. And
Yeah, I outline. Sort of like what I'll do is the major scenes, major points, Yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know what that is. That, yeah. I've lived in LA long enough. I know that true. My husband was a screenwriter too. So, yeah. I do. I outline. Sometimes I will even. This is weird. That ending will be so clear in my mind of whichever book I am starting that I will write the ending before I write the opening chapter. I will do that. I've done that about 3-4 times now. That it's so clear. This is the way it's gonna end. And so then it's a matter of working backwards, except I don't write backwards, but it's a matter of thinking, well, yeah, but how are you going to get there? And that's fun. It's kind of, it's a different way of writing. But yes, I do outline.
I'm sure, though, even though you're outlining, your characters surprise you and take you into directions you don't expect.
I can never, ever try to make a character do something that character would not do. I have tried to do that. Well, actually, yeah, I tried to kill off a character once. You guys, I don't know if you know this, but actually in the first book, Norman was supposed to be the second murder victim. I could not do that. Well, he wouldn't die, you know? No way, no how. You know, I mean, that guy was going to be in that series. He just talked his way right in. So, yeah.
You tried poison, you probably tried an axe, you just kept on popping back up, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. The dentist that would not die. Oh, there's a horror film for you.
That's pretty frightening. So, in terms of your other series, well, you haven't written necessarily other series, but you've written other books. Do you find yourself coming up with other ideas outside of Lake Eden that you want to write about, or do you, for the most part right now, you're kind of settled into writing this series?
I'm settled into Lake Eden. Yeah, I am. I mean, I wrote other things before. I wrote a lot of other things. And I am settled into Lake Eden because I really enjoyed writing about Lake Eden. I do have another mystery series in mind, but I'm not going to concentrate on that right now. You know, that's still floating back here. Yeah, a lot of things live up here. Sometimes there's no room for me. That makes me a little bit crazy. Don't tell anybody.
So what is the day in the life of you writing? What does that look like?
Well, I get up early, very early. I generally get up at 4. I go to bed early too, but I get up at 4. Let the dogs out. You got to do that. Otherwise, there's cleanup to do. Those of you who have dogs know what I'm talking about. And then I let them back in, and then I go to my office with the dogs, and we start writing. They snooze in their beds. They sleep in. I do not. And I write until it gets light outside. And, well, first I coffee up. That takes an hour. You know, I will drink a pot of coffee and write. Yeah, well, the eyes have to stay open. You know, I am deathly afraid I'm going to fill up my hard drive by falling asleep on the keyboard. Can't do this with me. So, yeah, so then I write, and then when it gets light, then I will let the dogs out to run and feed the dogs, play with them for a little bit. That's my day, you know. It's writing, playing with the animals, and then, of course, my neighbors come over whenever I bake. I will get calls. My next door neighbor will call me when I have. Sometimes when I bake in the kitchen, I have the window open. Sometimes she has her window open. She will call me on the phone and say, "Joanne, what are you baking?" Yeah, she does it. And I will tell her whatever I'm baking. Now, the latest one was the ultimate butterscotch bundt cake. It's just "What are you baking?" And I told her, and she said, "When will it be done?" And I told her, I said, "Come on over this afternoon and have a slice of cake." So you know.
She changed her entire day for that bug cake. You realize this, right?
She probably did. Yeah, I believe this. I believe it. Yeah.
Frankly, if I lived right next door to you too, I probably would be doing the same thing. Oh look, I've got to work from home today. Oh darn, Joanne's baking.
Exactly. Or I'm calling in sick. One or the other. We should do like a couple more, and then we'll have a cake program.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, you've got the chance to ask Joanne your questions.
They want the cake parade.
They do want the cake parade. Yes, sir.
I was just wondering, when you do the murder scenes, do you ever have somebody help you draw them out so that when you're writing them, you don't have inconsistencies? Because normally when I see in the books, they're very consistent, the murder scenes, with like people's stories and where you place them factually when you're writing it out. Like they're good. So I was just wondering if you ever did something like that.
No.
Oh, well,
No.
great imagination.
They're up here. You know, yes.
That's really good.
I imagine.
Oh, that's good.
I imagine. And then, of course, I do reread,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and hoping I could catch it. There is an inconsistency, I can catch it. Usually the murder scenes are they go by pretty fast.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's the point.
Yeah, well, they're not that violent, generally.
But I like to try to figure out a day. She likes the other stuff. So that's what we talk about.
Oh, very good. Hey, that's good.
You got to have the romance. You got to have the mystery. They're both integral to Joanne's books, and that's one of the great things about them that we've really enjoyed over the years. Is will she? Won't she? Will he? Won't he? And who will die?
Who is going to die? Yes. And will there be a second murder victim? That's
You
That's always-
surprise us. You surprise us here and there with a second or third body. So, you know, there isn't always just one murder.
well, sometimes Digger Gibson,
Yep.
the Undertaker, is, you know, it's a bad month. So I gotta help out. By the way, my daddy was an Undertaker. I think this is where I get this.
So, Patrick, we've got a couple surprises up here from Joanne. What numbers do we have?
22.
1 through 22, Joanne. We need you to pick a number.
Okay. 6.
6. All right, we've got one right here. And so, for those of you who are on Facebook who haven't been here, if you come on down, you can potentially win some swag. It's really great. And Joanne, what's another number between 1 and 22, not 6?
18.
18. Who has number 18?
Oh my goodness.
Excellent, Mary Ellen, congratulations! So we are going to have the cake parade, which means we probably have to say goodbye to our Facebook fans over here. We are going to have a great time enjoying the cakes, and Patrick is going to be delivering the book. So we're going to say goodbye to everybody, and we'll see you next time here at the Poison Pen.